Like, why do my brothers get more provisions in boarding school? The answer? Boys need more food, Seline. If I raise a complaint, my mother will say, Seline, it's a man's world. You can't get away with what your brothers do. When my brothers and I fought, the blame always landed on me. You need to be more tolerant, Seline. My mom would say, you are learning how to be humble for your future husband, Seline. Hello, it's another week and you're welcome to Life Stories with Bussy, where true life speaks and healing begins. Today I have another story, and this story is coming on the heels of the stories that we told 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. So these stories are stories that deal with how people suffered, or how people were handled by their parents, or how people were mishandled by their parents. The one we told 3 weeks ago was the story of the lady who was pregnant at 16 and her parents have not forgiven her. And then the one we told 2 weeks ago was the story of the lady who married a Fulani man. I always consider myself a very tough babe, but this particular story brought tears into my eyes, and not many stories do that for me. After reading, I shed tears. So I just had to reach out to the person, and the person told me, Bussy, I'm fine. And she told me the things that she was doing, the NGO that she has to help people and things like that, that this was her story and that she's moved past it. But because she saw similar stories on the channel, she decided that let her share her story. So I will just run into this story. Today we are not diving, we're running through this story. I saw two of your posts the other day. Two stories that mirrored mine. They talked about what happens when the very people who are supposed to love you betray you. When your own family rises against you. And I thought to myself, that's the worst thing that can happen to anybody, because your family is supposed to be your safety nest. I've come to realize something. Some parents didn't know better. They were raised in brokenness and passed it on unaware. But some knew exactly what they were doing. Some were selfish, calculating, and deliberate. It hit me in a way I can't explain, because I've lived that. I know how deep that wound goes. My name is Seline, and this is my story. I grew up in what people would call a comfortable home. We weren't struggling. We traveled abroad for holidays. My brothers went to school overseas eventually. I am the only girl, second born with 4 brothers. From early on, I was labeled second mommy, not just in name but in responsibility. I took that role seriously. It was expected of me. And while they were pampered, my brothers, I was prepared. Prepared to carry responsibility, prepared to be blamed, prepared to shrink. And at that time, I didn't realize how unfair it was. Not until I got older and started asking questions. Like, why do my brothers get more provisions in boarding school? The answer? Boys need more food, Seline. If I raise a complaint, my mother will say, Seline, it's a man's world. You can't get away with what your brothers do. When my brothers and I fought, the blame always landed on me. You need to be more tolerant, Seline. My mom would say, you are learning how to be humble for your future husband, Seline. Even academically, I topped my class. My brothers, average at the best. But guess who got praised? They did, for improving. Me? They'll glance at my report sheet, they'll move on like it meant nothing. I used to wait, just hoping for a kind word. Nothing. When I finally asked my mom why, she said, you are trying, but a woman who knows too much may not find a husband. In marriage, it's obedience that matters, not intelligence. Those words sat on my chest for years. I started losing interest in school until one teacher changed that. Mrs. Orija, my history teacher. She saw me, really saw me. She noticed my grades had slipped. She pulled me aside, got the truth out of me, and reminded me who I was. She said something I've never forgotten. The world has been changed by women who refuse to shrink. She told me about great women in history, women who broke barriers. She gave me back my fire, and I rose again. Fast forward to university. My brothers, all sent abroad for school. Me, left behind. I broke down, cried, shouted. When I asked my father why, he had no real answer. When I pressed further, he snapped. That's exactly why you can't go. You've shown signs of pride from childhood. I don't trust your head will stay on your shoulders if you travel. It hurt, but I chose to succeed anyway. So I stayed, but I swore to make my mark. Then I met David. He treated me like a queen, saw my light, loved me gently. We were in love. But in my third year, everything changed. My parents showed up with a plan. A marriage to IK, the son of my father's business associate. Suddenly, my once cold father turned warm. Gifts, flattery, and pressure. Suddenly, I was smart, beautiful, a golden key. My intelligence, once ignored, was now currency. A tool, a pawn in a contract. Why? Because IK's family held the key to a major business contract, one my father had been chasing for years. Marrying IK would unlock the deal. My father said, imagine the great things you'll be doing for your family. Your intelligence will help IK lead his father's company, and it will benefit us all. That's when I realized. To then, I was only worth a business contract. My mother chimed in. This will change our family's fortune forever. Your father will never forget it. He would appreciate it forever. But I was already with David. He begged me not to leave him. He begged me not to do it. He said that he would build a future for us. I was torn between love and responsibility. Still, I agreed to meet IK. He was smooth, funny, the perfect gentleman. He smoked. I didn't like that. But when I complained, he stopped, or so I thought. He spoiled me with gifts and took me on trips abroad. Slowly, I convinced myself David wasn't enough. So I broke David's heart. It's a decision I would always regret. IK's friends welcomed me, except one, Ivy. Ivy was always around, always watching, fake smiles, cold eyes. When I asked IK about her, he said, oh, she used to like me. I didn't feel the same. She's not important. She was at her proposal. She cried. She joined the bridal train, and I still didn't say it. Until a week before our white wedding, we were all at IK's parents' estate for the traditional ceremony. We hadn't consummated the marriage yet, so we were in separate rooms. He came to my room that night. I said I was tired. He said that he would sit and watch me sleep, and I slept. But around 2 a.m., I woke up thirsty. I stepped into the corridor heading to the kitchen, and something caught my eyes outside. 2 figures, close together, too close. I squinted. One stepped into the light, Ivy. The other, IK. Ivy was obviously upset. He followed her. He held her close and kissed her. Again. I froze. I thought I might be dreaming. So I called his name out loud. They both turned. She ran back into the house. I ran back to my room, locked the door, shaking. In the morning, I told my parents. They dismissed me. So they went, you were tired. Maybe you imagined it. When I wasn't buying that, they said, even if it happened, maybe it was closure for both of them. Just go ahead with the wedding. All men shit. If it doesn't work, be assured that we will support your divorce. So I went through with it. And once we were married, IK changed. IK told me plainly Ivy was the mother of his child. He said that I was just a smart wife he needed to secure his inheritance. That was why I played along. He told me to cooperate or suffer. I refused. So he locked me in rooms, cloned my phone, controlled my movement, controlled where I went, who I saw, when I went to the salon, the office, back home. Every conversation I had was monitored. every move watched, forced himself on me and assaulted me many times than I can count. I told my parents. They said, he'll change. His parents said, it's just useful exuberance. Have a child, he'll forget Ivy. My parents left the country and went off touring the world. And for the 4 years we were married, he made sure to force himself on me regularly. But he never wanted me pregnant. He always pulled out, deliberately, coldly. I wanted a baby. I believed maybe, just maybe, if I had this child, he would love me. Maybe he would change, but he wouldn't let it happen. Then Ivy had another baby. And he used it as a weapon. He went to his parents and told them that they had married him off to a barren woman. Me. All the while, he was the one preventing me from getting pregnant. He used my pain as a proof of his lie. I was humiliated, lonely, empty. But I'm grateful now, because if I had a child with him, running away would have been near impossible. I might not have survived. But one thing gave me hope. I knew that I had a friend living in a country we were scheduled to travel to for a business trip. My parents, his parents, and I all traveled together. And because my parents were around, wasn't as controlling on that trip. He couldn't afford to look suspicious. He played the part of loving husband, and that's when I saw my chance. I hadn't been able to plan with anyone. My phone wasn't safe, but I had one plan in my own head. That if I could just get away, I would run and look for my friend. So I packed a small bag in secret, disguised myself, and I slipped out of the hotel in the early morning hours before anyone could notice. My heart was pounding. I didn't even know if she would be home, but I found her and she took me in. I stayed with her as long as my visa allowed, but I was still afraid to return to Nigeria. Ike's family had power, money, influence. I knew they would have declared me missing, put my name on security watch list. It wasn't safe to come back. So I traveled country to country, short stays, no stability, living in fear. My friend reached out to David, and David, even though he was married, stepped in. Didn't ask questions, didn't hesitate, didn't hold the past against me. He covered the cost, funded my flight, paid for my safety, made sure that I could breathe again. That man, he gave me back my freedom. He saved me. I stayed away from Nigeria for over a year, and when I finally returned home, I was a shadow of who I once was. But I was free. Eventually, I healed. I found love again, on my terms this time. I married 5 years ago. I have a beautiful daughter. I didn't speak to my family. I didn't need to. When my father died, I stayed away and allowed his golden sons to bury him. Only recently did my brothers return to my life. They want me to forgive my mother, and I have. She's in her mid-70s now. Maybe now should have seen the cost of what they did. But the daughter they once had, she's gone. And I won't pretend to be her again. Wow. Like I said, when I first read this story, I teared up. And I looked at the life of this lady and I'm like, why? From when she was young, she was not encouraged in any way. She was saddled with the responsibility of being second mommy. I'm wondering, what manner of parents are those? Like, I hope we don't still have those kind of parents who use their children as a pawn. And they did all this just because she's a girl. So she wasn't given any room to thrive. They did not support her in any way. The only time when they felt that she was important was when they were looking for a consideration for a contract. That was when they realized that, this girl is important for that purpose. And then they sold her, because as far as I'm concerned, they sold her. They sold her into a marriage that was less than a marriage. I bet that they knew that that boy was not okay. I bet that they knew. But because they were concerned about the deal that they wanted to sign, and when she was going through all the things that she was going through, there was nobody to encourage her, nobody to lift her up. Her parents were traveling and touring the world. The only thing they told her, he will change, he will change. And the parents-in-law, who already knew that their son had a child with Ivy, and Ivy was present in all the ceremony, all the things they did. He was even in the bridal tree. And they knew that their son had a child with Ivy. I don't understand. And then the only thing he could tell the lady, have a baby, you forget Ivy. How can people be so callous? I don't even want to talk about the IK guy. Because the IK guy, may we not meet those kind of men. I pray. And the IK guy, oh, people will give it a nice name. Oh, he was a narcissist. No, it was wicked. Wickedness is it. It doesn't have two names. It's wickedness. It was a wicked guy. I pray that this generation of parents do better. I pray that God helps us to be better parents than some of our parents were. Because some people were raised with a lot of pain. But I pray that God makes us better parents than some of our parents were. I want to pretend and believe that this used to happen in the olden days and it doesn't happen any longer. But if you are a parent here and you are thinking of using your child as a consideration for a contract, please repent. It would not go down well, because at the end of the day, the man died, the wife is still alive. What's she feeling? She will never forgive herself. Okay, the money that you made now, where is it? What are you doing with the money? Like, how would you sell your child for material things? Okay, so the material things, where is it today? The woman is already in her mid-70s, meaning that give it some years now, she too, she would go. So, what have you achieved? You've achieved touring the world, seen money before. You've achieved touring the world and seeing the world. Okay, so what have you done with it? You've lost a child. Your husband is dead. You've lost your only daughter. Your only daughter, you've lost her. Just because you could not stand up to protect her. I hope we will do better not to discriminate between the gender of the children. Children are children. Whether it's a male or a female, children are children. If you encourage your girl to be the best, she will be the best. Let's not make decisions based on the present. Let us look at the future. Ojola. Because most of the things that we do now will affect our future. And they say as you lay your bed, you lie on it. If you don't lay it well, you lie on it like that. So whether you have a boy or a girl, whether your children are all girls or your children are all boys, whatever they are, it is the push that you give them that will help them in the future. It is the emotional connect that you have with them that will help them in the future. And it will help you too. Because after all is said and done, we will get older. So even if right now we're still, very agile, going to work, jumping about, making money, eventually we will get older. And we will have to depend on these children for our own emotional support. So you need to treat every child right. Every child, irrespective of the gender, needs to be treated right. Simple. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Seline. Guys, what do you think? I'll be in the comment section. Let us discuss this. Till next time when I come your way again, my name remains Busola Dilly David. Bye.